So our opener was going to be about the trials and tribulations of recording, which is hilarious because we just, like, the USB connection on the back of my soundboard had come loose. And so I was clicking record and it was like, there's no device. It's wrong. And I went to the settings and it wasn't showing the soundboard. Oh, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, what? What's going on? And then I was like, wait a second. So it's plugged into the computer. Did it Jimmy loose on the back of the soundboard? And it did Jimmy loose on the back of the soundboard. Yep. So you started us on this. What are your difficulties? Difficulties with recording or difficulties with?
So, first step.
Yes.
Check your connections.
Pull your microphone closer to yourself.
Test it.
There you
Testing. Go. There we go. Make sure to.
Speaking of recording problems.
So make sure when you're doing this stuff that you test it first, because the other day I recorded a 14-minute video and the video was missing the right channel.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, oh, crap. I just recorded 14 minutes and it was exactly what I wanted.
Right. And you only had one channel of recording, though.
So then what I had to do is I had to go into when I edited it, I just edited as a mono channel.
Oh,
That's how I had to do it.
Okay.
And there was no other way to do it other than re-record it. And I'm not doing that.
You already recorded a pretty good amount of stuff in 14 minutes. You don't have to redo that because then it wouldn't be real. It would just be
exactly
faked. It faked. I think that's the thing. So when I would do video blogs, like I used to have to do several takes, and it got to a point where I was like, I would get to 3 or 4 takes, and I was just like, this doesn't feel genuine anymore. This is not my real self. I am not this. No. So I haven't recorded a vlog in a while. I may get to it today, but I think vlogs, the importance of video blogs is in its honesty, and it's just like there's some editing present sometimes, but for me, I think that there's more quality in just being who you are and recording the vlog as it comes out. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be prepared and you need to have an idea of what you're going to talk about, because then you're just going to wander and waste your viewers' time. Yeah. But there was also there was a time where I had a podcast with James for Nerds by Screenlight, and I think I told you about this. I think I've talked about it before, where and this is why I always check now. Yeah. I had the sound settings in Audition set for the microphone on the laptop, for the computer laptop, and so the microphone that I was speaking into was the microphone on the computer, but James was on the other side of me, out of range of the mic. And so when I went back to listen to the podcast, I'm like, what is going on? And I was like, oh, man, I didn't have it switched over to the soundboard input.
Seriously.
And so every time, no matter what, be it on this soundboard or the soundboard at my school studio, whatever I'm doing, I always will triple check, is the input set correctly, both on the computer settings, but also on Audition, which is the Adobe product we use. Yep. And it's funny how you do it once and you never do it again.
You'll never make that.
You'll never, ever make the mistake again. So welcome to the County Gamers. My name's Aaron.
My name's Chris.
We really didn't announce it at the beginning of the podcast.
No, we normally do. But.
We were just so excited to talk about our problems with recording. It was just such an exciting moment for us all. We have some stuff to talk about today. And we haven't really decided on how we're going to change and shift things. We talked about the last episode about kind of how the podcast is going to change content-wise. And today may be that evolution as we move forward. So buckle in, strap in, keep all hands inside the ride at all times. Myself and Chris will be back to entertain you about all the things gaming and more here on the County Gamers. All right, welcome back to the County Gamers. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Chris.
And you didn't try your Batman voice. I'm so proud of you.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do it.
For those of you listening at home and you can't see, Chris leaned into his microphone after I said that. He's like, "No, I'm not gonna do it."
No, I'm not gonna.
Okay, no shame if you wanted to. I'm not gonna be mad. I just was amused because.
I am Batman.
Yeah, there he goes. There he's back. He's back. We're back on it. We're back on track again. We've checked that off the box. Checked that off the list. The podcast crossword puzzle list, whatever you call it.
Oh yeah.
Podcast bingo. So if you're listening and you're keeping track on the home game of your bingo card, Chris used his Batman voice, so you know you got your bingo. You got your mark on that on B5. B5. There you go.
B5. That's right.
We're on our way to bingo. All right, so we got a couple things to talk about today. First up on the list, Chris is talking about a game called Grounded, which I am not familiar with. Yeah, I'm sure that Chris is going to tell us all about it.
Well, what I know.
Okay.
Because I've never actually played it.
Okay.
But it is one that I'm considering playing today, actually.
Okay.
So this game is on the Game Pass, because as many of you know already, I do use the Game Pass quite a lot.
Yeah, and that's Xbox, correct?
Yeah. Okay. I use the Game Pass Ultimate's the one I use.
Okay.
And it's about, I think, $15 a month or something. It's cheap.
Okay.
For access to that many games, it's worth it. Because it gives you No Man's Sky and all those games.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to try and... There we go. Got it. Okay, we're good. So, Grounded...
I have a lot of noise in my...
Yeah, this was going to play some stuff.
Oh, got you.
You're good. Speaking of recording difficulties from earlier, I'm just going to make sure that we're still recording. We're still good. We're good. Things are good.
Woo, woo.
So Grounded is the game you're talking about, and you were talking about it off air. So tell us about this game. I'm looking at it on Steam, and it's by Obsidian Entertainment, who was responsible for the Skyrim predecessors and all that. So Obsidian, and also they made the Outer Worlds game. They did that as well, which was a direct kind of competition to a lot of what Bethesda was doing. Okay, so talk us through Grounded.
So basically, I saw this game on Game Pass, and I'm like, well, that game looks good. So then I watched I can't even remember who I watched to see the gameplay, but I did, and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, kind of.
Okay.
But they carry around weapons. It's pretty... I mean, think about how that would be. Mm-hmm. You're like the size of an ant. Yeah. But you have to fight ants.
Okay.
And stuff. I mean, it's just interesting, the perils that you would come across. And it just has this interesting feel that I would like to go look at. So that's what I'm going to play today.
Okay. It came out on September 27th, 2022. So it's a recent release. Mm-hmm. The world is a vast, beautiful, and dangerous place, especially when you have been shrunk to the size of an ant. Can you live alongside the hordes of giant insects fighting to survive the perils of the backyard?
That sounds so cool.
The reviews recently, 2,106, are very positive. All reviews out of the 28,342 reviews, very positive.
That's a good game.
It is interesting enough. It's survival, multiplayer, base building, and co-op. Darn. So it sounds like it's actually maybe it can be played single player.
Yeah.
But it also can be played like with friends.
That's cool.
Maybe that's part of it. So you play through the story, and you find out who did this to you. How does it work? You can solo or with friends anytime, so you can face the backyard alone or together, online with 3 friends. Not only that, but with Shared Worlds feature, you can continue to play in your shared world even if the original host is not on, with all your progression saving. That is interesting.
That's cool, huh?
Because a lot of times with multiplayer games and stuff like that, you have to all be there and to play it and for the progress to be made. But this seems to say, even if the original host is on, it's a shared world, so you could play solo in that world if the original player is not on. This actually looks interesting. I might actually check this out today.
I'm going to play it. I am going to play it.
You can use in-game customizations such as mutations and milk molars to activate the bonuses and perks you want for your character. Not only that, but craft and upgrade your armor and weapons to give your character the stats and advantages you need in order to take on the perils of the backyard.
That sounds so sweet.
Creatures can be found roaming the yard in a multitude of environments, such as the depths of the pond, the caverns of the termite den, or even the sweltering heat found in the sandbox. You can even attract them to different places in the yard by activating the mix are devices. However, the more you interfere with the creatures in the yard, the higher the chance that they come knocking at your own door. So you better prepare. So that's the base building part of this.
That is cool.
Looking at the images and looking at how it's the graphics are really legit. Like I'm impressed.
Yeah, they look good.
But mind you, Obsidian has been very successful in ways that that's back. Well, see what it is. It's there's videos files that are playing through the laptop.
Yeah.
And so it's set to have the speakers are set as this. So if I go here, yeah, it's doing that. So here we go there. We change it to Realtek. That should take the problem out of there. So that should be taken care of. So Obsidian, now mind you, Obsidian also had a hand in Fallout 4. Mind you,
no.
Oh, here's the thing though. Obsidian's part in Fallout 4, it was more in the DLCs. The DLCs for Fallout 4, especially Far Harbor.
Yeah.
Far Harbor is a beautifully told story.
Oh,
and when people talked about like how good Far Harbor was, they gave a lot of credit to Obsidian for the part that they played in creating that. And if you haven't already checked out Fallout 4 and checked out Far Harbor's story and just the mythos and the game design and how it's brilliantly told. I can't get enough of it. Obsidian also did, it looks like, Sea of Thieves, which has come a long way. When it came out originally, it was kind of terrible, but Obsidian has done that. They did Forza Horizon 5, of course, the racing game.
That's an excellent. I love that game.
Yep, that's gotten really good. Of course, Halo: The Master Chief Collection, stuff like that. So Obsidian has had a lot of. Actually, no, this is Xbox. Sorry, we got to go back to Obsidian.
It's $40 on Steam. Too.
Yeah, I was seeing that.
But I'm gonna get it for free.
Why is it just? I want Obsidian. I don't want Xbox Game Studios. Okay, new releases. This is Microsoft because they're giving me like Halo Infinite. They're giving me Age of Empires. Maybe Obsidian did have a part in. Okay, maybe Obsidian did have Age of Empires.
Oh, here it is.
Stuff there. Okay.
So I got it pulled up on.
There you go.
My Mac.
Okay. So yeah, see, Obsidian has had a hand in a lot of things, and they have done some really strong games, which I appreciate as a gamer. It won't let me go to Obsidian is beyond me, but whatever. Okay, so there you go, Grounded. I might actually check that game out. I'm really kind of impressed with how that looks and what it feels like. So there you go. All right.
That's so cool.
Yeah, there you go. So as much as we bemoaned the lack of games out there last week and the weeks before, sometimes you find these really incredible games, and you're just like, what? Why? This is so good. Manor Lords demo. So Manor Lords is you can look it up if you want on Steam. So Manor Lords is basically kind of like Crusader Kings meets like Age of Empires meets there was also I gotta find it in my library.
Looks really good.
It's in my head, but I gotta find it real quick. There was a game that came out a couple of years back called Banished. And Banished was a city builder, and it was set as you would have to build and all this stuff. And the game was all right. It kind of they stopped developing it, they stopped updating it, and it had its own issues and bugs. But Banished was basically where you built your civilization from the ground up, and you had to build lumber, and you had to build roads, and you had to build all this stuff. And it was very much it was revolutionary from the time it came out because it was a small studio, and it was really, really cool. Manor Lords takes Banished and throws it in with Crusader Kings and games of that sort.
Yep.
Because you are the lord of the land, and you have to grow your land, your city, your community from the ground up. So you start with a homeless encampment, and you have to build like a granary, and you have to build the pieces. You have to build a logging stand. You have to build the foraging hut. But that's just the beginning, because eventually then you're going to build like a tavern, and you're going to build roads, and you're going to build so that eventually you become the lord of this land. And you can build, and this is where the Crusader Kings and Age of Empires piece comes in, you can build armies. And the map you can take over and send in war and go into battle with other manor lords on the map and take control of those segments. Now, the demo is very limited in what you can do. It doesn't have the military option. It just has you building the base and kind of experimenting with it. People have been talking about this game for quite some time, and the demo is a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing that demo because it is like very managey, like it's base building, but it's also like the character models are actually really well done. So like when you chop down a tree, the guy who chops down the tree either has to ask somebody to go get the ox then goes and gets the log, transports the log to the storage place or to where it gets like cut into pieces. But everything has a purpose, and as they're building the specific houses that you get. Like if they're building like a burger plot is like a house. Like it's back in the day when the burgers, you'd have multiple families in a house, whatever. It shows them building the burger house piece by piece. Darn. So like the modeling, and it's a small team. The modeling is incredible. And just how everything, the sounds of everything and the looks of everything and how it all just works together. And just for a demo, it's like, this is solid. This is a fun little game. That's a
good demo, yeah.
Yeah, and it was so, and because people have been waiting, like it's been in the works for quite some time, and people have been looking for it, waiting for it, and so finally they're like, yeah, we got the game, and it is a lot of fun to play. I am looking forward to when it eventually comes out because there's Manor Lords, and then like there's Crusader Kings, there's Civilization, there's a lot of different games that try and do what this does. But it's never really like Total War has always tried to do this as well.
Yeah,
but Total War has always been buggy because it never really succeeds. It's cool, but it's missing pieces and it's not developed as well as it could be because they're trying to put out these properties. They're like, ooh, it's pretty. Like Total War Attila, I'm sure it's come a long way in the years since it was released, but it had issues. It wasn't as strong as it could have been.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of properties that have tried to do this, and Manor Lords is attempting to do what everyone else has done separately and pull it together into one big game.
That's difficult.
That's
hard.
Yes, it is. It's not easy, but I think it's interesting, and I'm kind of excited to see where they take it.
Yeah, me too.
But Manor Lords, there are a lot of YouTubers who got a hold of the demo in the last couple of days, and they're playing through it, and they're just having a blast. So I've played the demo. I played it last night, and it's really cool. Like, it's actually different. Like, like you play a game and you're like, okay, this is the same thing I saw in that game. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But this game, it's the mechanics are different enough, and the way that it's implemented is different enough that it feels fresh. It feels new. It feels like this is a new take. This is a new direction. I'm okay with this game. Like, I want to see where this goes. I want to buy this game when it comes out, which is an unusual reaction for me because usually
you're like, no, we don't want to play more.
I don't want to buy any more games. I am going to wish list Grounded, so I come back to that later tonight and maybe play it because it looks like a heck of a lot of fun. If you play it, we'll have to like be friends or hook up online somehow with if we play together.
That would be
hilarious.
That would be fun.
And fun's a word for it. We'll see how that actually works out.
They could make a mockery of gameplay.
Yeah. it'll be fantastic and hilarious for everybody else. So yeah, Manor Lords, put it on your list. Okay, so No Man's Sky is a game both of us have played and have enjoyed.
That game is so much fun.
So every update they do is a new update. Like it adds more elements. And so they just recently did on October 7th, the Waypoint 4.0 update. So an overhaul of fundamental elements of gameplay to change the game up for new and existing players. So they did a lot of they're releasing No Man's Sky on the Switch, which is interesting, and I'm hopeful that works out like it's supposed to because the Switch is always they tried to put Skyrim on the Switch.
Yeah, it didn't work.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, and WWE put like their buggy game on the Switch as well. Oh, that was bad. That was the worst of the worst.
But
so
the Switch is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. You got to know what you're doing with it. Yeah. Like you can't throw a WWE 2K game on there and hope that it's going to work. It's not going to go well
That's
for
what
you.
They do. Let's just do it.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's make it happen. So the 4.0 update hit everybody on Friday.
It's VR compatible too.
Yes, so that's been a thing for a little bit, but they've improved it. So inventories have been overhauled with ships, weapons, and players having their level cap greatly increased. Survival, crafting, combat, and controls can all be customized to cater for the traveler's unique playstyles. This is a feature I saw in Tom Clancy's Ghost Point,
Breakpoint.
Yeah, whatever. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. There it is. And what Breakpoint allowed you to do was you could set the settings so that it was the easiest for you. Like you didn't take a lot of damage, you recovered quickly, and that was a fantastic feature for me. I am not a competitive player. We've talked about this. I don't get into a game to win. I get into a game to enjoy, and if along the way like it works, but often I will use a trainer. Yep. And I'm freely and happily admitting this. I'm not going to try and hide my reality. I love to play with trainers. And what trainers are is they're additional applications where you like hit a key and it gives you like ultimate life, or it gives you ultimate ammo or no reload or whatever.
Well, that's kind of cool though.
Because I don't like to like have to experience the rage quitting mechanic. I know there's some people who just that's like they love being challenged and pushed. Yeah. I don't. I play to be distracted. I play for fun. So more often than not, I will use a trainer to get through a game. And so that's what they've done, is they've given you the ability. And I tried this out last night, actually. I played the new update, and it's really cool because it lets you decide, okay, do I want enemies? They're called sentinels, the creatures that follow you and hunt you down. Do I want sentinels? And you can set it so that there's no sentinel presence whatsoever.
Oh, that's cool. Those things are annoying.
They are, especially if you're trying to get something and they come and attack you, and you like. But it also allows you to set up like you take no damage, or you can take like a little damage, or you can take all the damage. And so each part and mechanic of No Man's Sky is modifiable. So you can set up to survival, or you have to go and search for stuff for easy crafting or whatever. And it's just like, it's perfect because there are so many people out there who would play the game, but they don't want to have to like fight and like do all the things that you have to do.
They just want to explore.
Yeah. And so the settings that they've added additionally in this 4.0 release, it allows you to do that. It allows you to kind of be free and to do your own thing and to do whatever you like. And so it's really, really cool to see that happen in a game, because they're trying, and they've done a heck of a job. Credit goes to Hello Games for the work they've done to make this game what it was when they advertised. And they have been consistently and constantly giving free updates. At some point, I know the DLC they're going to charge for, but it's going to be like, given their track record currently, whatever DLC they offer is going to be massive, and it'll be worth the money they're going to charge for it. So No Man's Sky, and it's like, I played it. It's a lot of fun. Like even like the way when you go to the space stations, the color of the beam or the color of the entrance door, it's different and it shimmers, and it's like I was like, whoa, this is okay. All right, No Man's Sky, this is good. Like, you've done something different. All right, cool. And so a lot of it is kind of just gotten a lot better, a lot sharper.
Yeah.
And it
was good to begin with.
Yes. It has been good for about a year and a half or so. Yeah. And it's just a lot of fun. I love playing that game. Yeah, like good. Last night I was playing, I was like, I gotta go to bed. It's 10:30, but I was like, yep, gotta go to bed. So I had to force myself to shut it off and go to bed. But it's just like, it's so much fun just to explore. Like, you have a galaxy, a universe of planets to explore.
That's crazy.
And you can just go anywhere and I think that's, for some of us, that's like, we just want to play that game where we can just journey through the stars.
Exactly.
And explore and see. And you can land on planets, you can go to space stations, you can take on missions, and you just get to journey through life.
It's the creative piece of it. That's what I like about it.
It's a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of crazy fun stuff. So there you go, No Man's Sky update. If you haven't checked it out already, which if you haven't, you've been living under a rock. Hello Games has really hit it out of the park. Like, I would give this game like as high of a grade as I could, like 9.5 out of 10. It's come a long way. Now, when it came out, no, it was terrible. It was bad. It was the most disappointing game release, since the Fallout. Since Bethesda's really done it. But here's the difference. Here's the difference maker. Hello Games was like, we're not going to be like them. We are going to make this game good.
There you go.
And so they fought back and pushed back, and they didn't pull us a Cyberpunk 2077. No. They said, okay, no, we're going to make this game right. We're going to do right by our fans. And the thing is, they've built it so well that there are people out there who probably have not played No Man's Sky who are buying it and picking it up and engaging with it because it's a good game. And this is the thing. Here's the connection to Starfield. Yeah. So we've talked about Starfield and how we're both worried about how it's going to look and how it's going to feel. The Angry Joe Show did a review of their trailer a couple of months, like a month ago or so, and they talked about how Starfield was going No Man's Sky in how it had stuff and opportunities and mechanics. But here's the thing. No Man's Sky looks a heck of a lot better than what I saw in the trailer for Starfield.
It's 3 times better.
Yeah, and it's like, but everything works and it looks good and it feels good and it sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
And like, it's like, do we need it? Like, I was thinking about this today. I'm like, do we actually need Starfield? Like,
nope.
But maybe it does. Maybe it comes in when it releases and it adds to the No Man's Sky. It adds to the genre. It really pushes the limits. We also recognize that Bethesda's track record has been terrible for years.
Long time.
And they haven't we have a lot of feelings. We've talked about it. We won't beat the dead horse.
Yeah, we have.
But we'll
beat it again.
We'll raise it. We'll dig it up, raise it like Frankenstein, and then parade it around, talk about it, and then
put it back down.
Put it back down again. We'll do it every week. It'll be a traveling freak road show of horse equine madness. I don't know.
Horse equine.
That was 2 words. Horse and equine are 2 of the same thing. So I was trying to come up with a cool way to say it.
That was good.
It didn't work.
That was good.
Equine. There's no E. There's no alliteration with that. Horror. I don't know. Equine. There needs to be an E word that's like equine, evil equine action. I don't know. Anyway, there we go.
That was really good. I enjoyed that.
I'm a language. I'm glad somebody did because I didn't. I was just like, this sounds stupid. Anyway, moving on from No Man's Sky back into space in the final frontier in the undiscovered country. 2 Star Trek movies. One was good, one was terrible. Star Trek Picard, season 3, the final season dropped. Now, here's the thing. You said, why do people hate this show?
Yes, I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Well, good. I'm glad you're taking the meds and taking the money from them.
I get it. Okay, so I had Paramount Plus, but then there wasn't nothing on it, so I quit doing it.
Okay. But you watched Picard.
I did. Did you watch the first episode?
Oh, okay. So Chris, let's back this truck up a second. When I alleged that you were taking the meds or the money from Paramount, now I know. Okay, so you watched 1 episode. That does not a season make, sir.
No, it's not.
Okay, so you like the show based on 1 episode out of 2 full seasons.
Yeah.
Let's readjust our expectations and our review of this because your love of Star Trek Picard is based on the premiere episode.
1 episode.
Yeah. Okay. Let's be clear. Let's be honest. So here's what happens. So spoiler alert. We're gonna talk. I have not watched all the way through Picard because I've read enough and I've done enough watching of reviews to know I will eventually have to slog through it. I will freely admit that I need to. I'm going to just probably hate watch it because...
Yeah, you will.
Anyway, so at the end of season 1 of Picard, the human being of Picard dies. Okay, that's...
Why? Yeah, why?
Okay, so then his consciousness...
is
transferred into an android. The Picard we see from season 2 on is not actually Jean-Luc Picard. It's an android with his consciousness / brain / whatever.
Sucks.
I know this, and this has been like this is our conversation with James, and people are like, "Well," I'm like, "No," because now there's
it's not Picard anymore.
No, it's. I mean, yeah, he's got his consciousness in there, but there's no risk, there's no danger. He's stronger, he's better, he's faster, he's the $6 million man. Like that's a deep cut from the 70s or 60s show, but like I just.
It's like when you lose somebody.
Yeah.
When they die.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. You shouldn't. And that's the danger in what they did is I think they tried to make it really edgy and swervy and so. And then the problem with season 2 is they went back in time. They did time travel, and the reviews of that season were really pretty harsh because they ended up they used characters over again.
Yep.
And it was like it wasn't really. It was just kind of a hot mess. At least people felt like it was. And I was, given what I read and what I saw and what I heard, I was just like, well, that makes complete and absolute sense. So
now I'm not liking it so much now.
you better send your money that Paramount paid you for your nice things to say about a pack.
I'm not paying them nothing.
You're taking the money and run.
My money speaks louder than my words do, man. That's a fact.
I like that. So. Season 3 is now the final season of Picard.
Yep.
And they allege, I don't know if I believe them or not. They're like, no, we always planned to do 3 seasons. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So this season, and you watch the trailer, they're bringing everybody back.
It looks good.
They're bringing Riker. They're bringing LaForge. They're bringing Worf. They're bringing the counselor back. They're bringing the doctor back. They're bringing everybody's back. And what's interesting is we got so there's a couple things. Number 1, we got the villain, and the villain is played by Amanda Plummer. Now, that name may sound familiar to you. I did not know who she was, like actress-wise, but she is a Tony Award winning for The Fisher King and Pulp Fiction. So she's an actress on her own. Like, she is an incredible actress apparently on her own. I have not seen her in anything. I need to, whatever. She's the daughter of Christopher Plummer, who is the guy who played General Chang in The Undiscovered Country. He was the Shakespearean quoting Klingon.
Yep.
Now, Christopher Plummer was a legend on his own. Dude was an incredible actor of stage and movies, and dude was legit, a legend. And it appears that Amanda Plummer is following in his footsteps with her incredible track record and her incredible resume that she's building.
Him. Yeah. Okay.
Christopher Plummer was legit. So we lost Christopher Plummer in the last year or so, and he was just a consummate actor. Like, he was, like, the old Hollywood actors, like, and actresses, like, they are just that good.
Like Sean Connery.
Yeah, like you're like, oh man, these guys have skills. Yeah. These are the people who care about their profession. Christopher Plummer cared about his profession. He did a show. It was on PBS, I think, and it was basically talking about John Barrymore. And he played the character. He played the person of John Barrymore going through his final bits of his life, where he is coming back to stage and trying to reinvent himself. Obviously, John Barrymore soon passed away after that. But it's an insight into John Barrymore's character and who he was in his history. But Christopher Plummer eats up that stage, like he just chomps, and you're just like, this is. I don't know. I did not pay enough for this. I should be paying more for watching just Christopher Plummer just destroy this stage, and just it's incredible. So anyway, Amanda Plummer is his daughter, and she's also a fantastic actress.
Oh, is that? I wonder if that's her right there.
So yeah, she's playing a character called Vadic, the mysterious alien captain of the Shrike, a warship that has set its sight on Jean-Luc Picard and his own crewmates from his days on the Enterprise. They're not saying who and what connection she has, which I think is interesting and partially troubling, because I talked with James about this. I think we even mentioned it a little bit. Like, if you're going to do Star Trek, do it with a villain that we know. Like, bring back a villain from the Star Trek, the TNG series, that we're like, oh, he's back. They're going to have to fight this again.
Should have killed that fool
right,
the first
right,
time.
yeah. But we don't know who Vadic is. We may find out her connection.
That name sounds familiar.
I haven't done my research into it. But yeah, she's going to be the big bad. There's also, interestingly enough, that there's a character in Star Trek TNG that was a reoccurring character in the holodeck, who was Professor Moriarty.
Oh, I remember that.
So he is also back. That's the character you saw who says, hello, hello, everyone. Or what and he's an old guy with the hat and whatever. That he's coming. He is returned as well.
Oh, that guy.
So, and the guy, Daniel Davis, was the original guy who played Professor Moriarty in the Star Trek TNG series.
Sweet.
So they're definitely bringing that back. That's happening. There also is the appearance of the USS Enterprise F, which is the next in line to the Star Trek Enterprise kind of mantle.
The original one.
Yeah. Well, it's the Enterprise F, and it's an Odyssey class. And I know this because I'm a Star Trek geek, and I play Star Trek games online, and I do Star Trek RPGs. Anyway, so there's a debate about the Odyssey class Enterprise F. It's the Odyssey class has been in Star Trek Online, which I've been playing a little bit more recently, and so there's a lot of kind of conversation about like what model of the class this Enterprise F is. But we get a very quick appearance of the Enterprise F, and we're not sure how it's gonna play. The other big bad is Brent Spiner is in this series.
Yeah,
and he is playing the evil brother of Data, Lore, and that's where Geordi says, "Oh, Lore," when Lore appears outside engineering. So that's where that is, and so we're not really sure what part Lore's going to play in this story. If he's going to be the bad guy, or if he's just a side bad guy, or what's going on.
He's going to destroy them all.
I don't know. We'll see. And then, there's also two more characters. So the children of LeVar Burton's Geordi LaForge are also going to be in play. So Sidney LaForge is played by Sharp, Chestnut, and she's the eldest daughter of Geordi LaForge and the helmsman of the USS Titan, which is the ship all the characters are going to be on with Riker. So Riker's the captain of the Titan. So then Ensign Alejandra LaForge is played by Mika Burton, and she is Geordi LaForge's youngest daughter who works alongside her father in the engineering department. So they're bringing in some familial pieces to the Star Trek story.
Cool.
It's interesting that there's been some kind of like mention or possibilities where one of the characters has said, words are hard apparently, Riker's real life person. Hold on a second, I gotta find him. There he is, Jonathan Frakes. So Jonathan Frakes made mention in this came out in a exclusive like release or whatever. He said this is not the end. Kind of made that passing comment. It's Picard's like Patrick Stewart's old. Like he probably needs to take a step back from full-time production.
Yeah.
But
he's awesome though.
I appreciate him too. I get it. I get him coming back from Picard. I don't like how they ended season 1 and then the rest of he's just an android. Whatever, be that as it may. I'm interested to see what they do with if Jonathan Frakes is indeed being honest about his plan to bring back the old crew in some capacity. And I'm wondering if introducing Geordi's daughters is a piece of that puzzle.
Could be.
If we're going to bring in the next generation of Star Trek.
It could be.
Because the Enterprise F is in play.
Yep.
And who will captain it, how will that work? And maybe that's the idea behind this, is to bring in the next Enterprise crew for either television or maybe movie. I hope television. I would love to see another Enterprise television show.
Oh yeah. They're awesome.
I would hope they would produce it well. But yeah, that's the Star Trek Picard kind of season 3 rundown. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it all works and that it does what it's supposed to do. They've got some really incredible actors and actresses.
They do.
In the list for season 3.
Yep.
I mean, all the original crew, and then you've got the new blood, the new generation. You've got Brett Spiner's Laura's coming. Like you've got Professor Moriarty from the TNG. Like there's a lot of possibility here.
Yep.
But I'm also cautiously optimistic because these are the same people who brought us Discovery, which is a mixed bag overall. They brought us Strange New Worlds, which was an amazing, great new Star Trek series. If you haven't watched Strange New Worlds, well, it's on Paramount Plus, which you have gotten rid of, but it's worth it. Strange New Worlds is worth a watch.
Darn.
It's a whole season. It's good, and the new season's coming soon as well. There.
Oh, cool.
So there's your Star Trek update.
As long as they don't Hollywoodize it, we'll be all right.
Yeah, well, there's, from your lips to God's ears. All right, so we now come to the philosophical portion of the show. Yes. Chris is really excited about this.
I love it.
He's fun. So we're gamers, and we've been gamers for a long time.
Yep.
The question that we kind of decided on to close out the show is, if we could design the perfect game, what would it be like? What would be the perfect game?
That's hard.
It is. I think...
Man, that's a hard question.
The answer I would have, at least for me, while Chris thinks on his idea, would be... I got to find it now because I have just lost my brain. Elden Ring in complexity and detail.
Yep.
I think we start there. So if you want to start with a base of like, okay, to what level of intricacy and involvement and design and all that would you want your game to feel like, that when you start playing it, you're like, okay, this game's got weight. This is like a serious game. It's taking it seriously. I would say something along the lines of an Elden Ring. But I would.
That's a good game.
It is. It's a solid game, and I have not even begun to explore the full of it yet.
I hate that guy on the horse.
Yeah, the enemies are not easy. There's a reason why there's a reason why it came from the Dark Souls production series. It's a Dark Souls like game, so it's gonna punish you for your losses.
Oh, it did too. Let me tell you.
But like a game that has that weight and depth of Elden Ring, or even like a No Man's Sky, like you play it and you're like, okay, this is intentional. Like now, obviously, No Man's Sky.
Enveloped.
Yeah, you're pulled in.
Yep.
I think that, and there's a game out there, and I think I've talked about it before, and I haven't played it in a while. I haven't seen the latest updates. There's a major update that happened in when did this release? September 20th. So it's a game called Police Simulator Patrol Officers.
Oh yeah, I've seen gameplay.
Yeah. Some people really mess with it, which is fine, whatever. But it's a fun little game. But I think and this is going to sound really corny, but I would love to see a game that does that. That just like it's. Have you ever played L.A. Noire? So L.A. Noire was a game that came out more than many years ago. L.A. Noire was a game where you played a police detective in the 40s, in 40s Los Angeles, and you were investigating cases, and you could interview people, and you could, are you lying, are you not lying? And a lot of the storyline was decided on whether or not you're able to successfully interrogate the cases and figure that out. Mm-hmm. So what I would love to see is I would love to see like a modern day game like that, but set in like an expansive city where there's a lot of more free roaming, kind of like I can't think of it, like Grand Theft Auto, but not without all the violence and the killing and the murder.
I was going to say GTA.
Yeah, GTA. Well, there was so like a game that just allows you to really inhabit a character and explore and build your story. So you would start like off as like a cadet in the police department or something.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you would slowly but surely build your cases and go through with your field training officer, and you would start to kind of be getting hints of a larger conspiracy perhaps. And so the nice thing about some games is they have your main mission, right? You have your overwhelming big bad that you got to defeat by the end of the game. But what a lot of games will do is they'll do side quests. And so you do in the side quests and stuff like that. So within this in my game, there would be the overarching, okay, eventually you're going to have to deal with this and figure this out. But you would complete these side quests, and the side quests wouldn't just be like, okay, you get a new gun or you get a new police car. That would be a benefit there, but you would also explore and uncover the larger story in more depth than if you just followed straight through. So if you follow the main quest, okay, you get there, but the side quests add in not critical information, but they add in interesting and useful background. So it's a lot of what you saw in like Skyrim, you see it in Outer Worlds, you see it in other games where you go and you do a side quest and you get something that's interesting, but it's also like, ooh, now that I know this, when I go to that main mission, I have extra information to use in conversation, or now I know something that can help me influence and change the path of this because I did this side mission. It ties
into the story.
Right, it ties into the story. Yeah. It's not critical. If you don't do it, then you don't miss out. But if you do it, then, hey, you've got something additional. And as a player, as soon as you discover that, you're like, okay, well, all these side missions are going to do something for the big mission.
Yep.
It's not a critical. You're not going to fail if you don't do them. But you're driven to explore. You're driven to do those things because it gives you a better understanding of the mythology of the world building that they're doing with you.
Yep.
Skyrim does that a little bit because you do side quests and they tell you, oh, well, this is happening here, that's happening here. Or like in Dragon Age, you'll overhear something, someone's talking about it, and your map will update. So stuff like that where it's not just a side mission to grind and get your statistics.
Yep.
It's a side mission that, it helps you buff you up, but it also is, oh, this is interesting. This is more news. This is more development. This is more of whatever. So that like a game that would just envelop you and again, it would be a massive undertaking to pull this game off because you would have to really, you build it at all levels. You have to do the graphics and everything, but like an open world. And again, they've done it before. They've done it with a lot of game design. I mean, Saints Row has been this way. Grand Theft Auto. You've done city building. It's not impossible.
No, it's not.
But it would just be fun and like you would chart out your career as a police officer up through like detective and sergeant and every promotion like requires you to do a piece of the main mission but if you do more of the side missions then you get more buffs, you get more information. So by the time you get to police captain or something, I don't know, like sergeant, like you have amassed all of this knowledge and experience and training. So then the big bad is able to be faced or able to be defeated.
That's cool, actually.
But like, it takes time. It doesn't happen in a week.
Yeah.
It happens over years. So you're building this case and you're tracking it. And sometimes you miss, like you lose. You might track down the bad thing or whatever, and you like barely miss them. You barely are able to find them.
Which happens,
right? Or then here's the cool thing: if you complete the side missions and do the side pieces, maybe you're able to get to that person fast enough and stop them. So like for example, like if you do the side missions and you find out, hey, there's somebody out there who's buying a lot of C4. Hey, the black market's being flooded with requests for C4. What's going on with that? Oh, we don't know. We're just hearing whispers of this guy. And so maybe you complete that side mission and you figure out the guy's code name. You're like, okay, all right, that goes in my notebook. And then as you progress through the main mission and other side missions, you start to find out, okay, the C4, there's trucks. People are seeing a lot of trucks moving. Okay, this is happening in there's a tip that there might be something happening in 12 hours. You need to go check this out. And you go and check it out, and you find some guy, and you're like, and because you did the side mission, you find out his code name. It's like, hey, do you know anything about this guy? What's going on? Oh man, yeah, I've heard he's gonna do some bad things. Man, you gotta get down there. I've been trying to tell everybody, but nobody listens. And of course, he's like, nobody believes him because he's crazy or whatever. But then there's like a moment where you're okay, because I did all this work. There's a payoff. I can actually save the day. Versus if I didn't do it, then there's an explosion that happens and people die, and the mission continues. But you have been able to influence real world events with doing the side missions, doing the hustle, and just like an overarching. Whatever. So like so it would be a long, a deep game where you were going through your career as a police officer, and it would build like a case file, and you'd have your office, and you could go and look at your old case files, and old case files start to connect, and some old case files don't. They're just one-offs. But you can go back to the crime scenes. You can see how the city is changing. So as time goes on, the city around you begins to grow and change and modernize. Cool. And so like that would just be a really fun game to play, because there would be an overarching big bad plot story, but there would also be like incremental moments that you take care of. So I'm a big immersive gamer. I love that kind of stuff, and I think there's a missing aspect, because we've played Detroit. You've played Detroit Being Human. There are a lot of games out there like that you play a law, like a police officer, or you play a person who's trying to investigate. Yeah. Like Control is a game that I need to play, because Control is a
I've heard of that,
very trippy game, and how it there's a lot of supernatural, but also very weird stuff going on, but it's really cool and really how it's thought out. Mm-hmm. But I just think it'd be fun to have a game like that where you could progressively progress through the journey of being a cadet to being a sergeant, or, a captain of a police. I don't know. Like and I think it'd just be fun. I know there's probably not a lot of people out there that are interested in it, but I do know. So the game SWAT 3 is one of the greatest games
of game.
all time.
I love that game
because it's so much fun to hey, you shout at the criminal and they either choose to shoot you or they choose to surrender, and you have to search people and you have to cuff them, and there are people out there who would play a game like that I'm talking about
a lot.
But that's my jam. I love simulation. I love deep games. I love exploration. I really, really love a lot of that stuff. So now that I've talked all about my idea for a perfect game,
I have one too.
Okay.
I had a lot of time.
Oh, you did? I talked for a while.
And it gave me time to really come up with a concept. So I'm going to go back to when my son was a little boy.
Okay.
He was probably in third or fourth grade.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, son, I want you to just write a story.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. It can be anything that you think is a legitimate story.
Yeah.
I said, it don't have to be perfect. Just come up with something.
Yeah.
He brings this paper to me, front and back.
Yep.
And it is about the Chinese government killing their people.
Okay.
Launching a missile over China to kill their people. And I thought, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, while you were talking, I'm sitting here thinking, what if you had a game where the main theme of the story is the bad has already happened?
Okay.
How do you survive? Or what if it does give you the option to stop it?
Yeah.
How do you do that against an entire government?
Right.
How do you, in a game, because the story has to be immersive.
Right.
It has to be legitimate, because you don't want it to seem fake.
Yeah.
To me, I've played way too many games that just seem fake and they seem stupid, and they're just, the stories are lacking on most games,
right?
Which is a no-no for me. I like games that have a story, and just having a story where the ultimate intention of the Chinese government is to kill their people.
Yeah.
How do you stop that? Like how do you go about one person?
Right.
How do you go to stop a government?
Okay. I think because I think it's interesting in that, because that begins the question. So there's a game, it's many years old. It was called The Saboteur.
Oh yeah.
And it was the idea that there was a character, your avatar was stuck, I think in France during World War II.
Yep.
And your job, so the world was black and white.
Yep.
But as you freed sections of the city and defeated the Nazis, it became color. The world became color. And as a concept, it's incredible. The gameplay was fun. It's been many years. It was a PS3 game, I think. I don't think it ever came out for the PC.
I'll have to buy it then.
It's a lot of fun. It is a little bit frustrating because it's not easy. Like it's not intuitive. I don't think how do you spell Saboteur?
SABEA
Saboteur.
something.
No, I don't think it ever came out for PC.
Oh, it didn't.
But yeah, it's a fun little game because it does a lot of that. You have to really work hard at freeing the city from the.
It sounds cool though.
Saboteur game, yeah, video game. So for the Saboteur, when did this game come out? Am I going to feel old right now? GOG gives it 4.3 out of 5. So 2009 is when it came out.
Holy moly!
Well, no, it's apparently it came out on Windows allegedly, which is interesting. So it is an interesting kind of concept, but I think it's a lot of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so I think there's an element in that game where you would have to get people on your side.
Yeah.
You would have to find a way to convince them
That is so cool.
to be a part of your team to start doing that. Now, admittedly, I'm trying to remember what game this was that did this. It was hold on a second. I got to find it real quick. So it's the hacking game with the third one that came out that I hated so much, Legion.
The hacking game?
Oh, it's on the top of my tongue. Legion game. Watch Dogs Legion. Okay, so in the game that I never finished because I was so mad about it. But in Watch Dogs Legion, to get people into your gang or your group, you would have to do like something to get them to trust you. So if they have a thing like I have a debt to this guy, or I want this guy fired, or I want this to happen, you could then go find that person, do the thing that they needed to do to them, and then go back to that person that you wanted to recruit and say, hey, I did this for you, join up. And then that person will be like, hey, man, thanks for taking care of that. Yeah, I'll join up with you guys. I'll join your group. I'll help contribute, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
So the mechanics are there.
Yeah.
And I think that would be even more fun if it was like if they played a critical role. The nice thing is that once you recruited them, you can actually play as them. So once they're in your group, you could then buff them up, get them experience, get them. So you had a selection. I think it was like 10 characters that you would recruit and then you could play as.
Yep.
And each of them had a specific kind of skill or talent. So within your game, you could have like, okay, this person's really good at subterfuge. This person's really good at sabotage. This person's really good at just like no one pays attention to them because it's just so normal.
That would be sweet.
But then you could build that into a situation where you recruit like upwards of like 1,000 people, because that obviously you're talking about taking down the entire Chinese government. Like you would have to recruit a lot of people to make that happen. But the scale of that game is at any time you have the ability to choose from 10 of those thousands, or like it limits you to like, okay, you can only have this many people in your little pile of people you can choose to play with, and each of them like you select from your 1,000 or whatever. Okay, this person has high tech skills. This person has this, whatever, and you rotate them in. So you have a 10 group that you can select from and play at any time, and then they continue to recruit. And then the mechanics would be the more people you recruit and the more like the talent level that you recruit tips the scales. So if you recruit a lot of hackers, well, you can hack computers. You can hack the CCE, the CCTVs. You can hack that stuff. So then the more you have hackers, the more your gameplay might change. You might target computers more versus if you have more guerrilla fighters. Well, then you might be fighting more of like an actual guerrilla warfare. Yeah. Like you're going to go and take over a province, and you're going to go toe to toe with the Chinese government, and like that's going to require a whole lot.
Probably don't want to do
right, and but if you manage to get enough of them recruited, you could choose a different gameplay paths. You could choose to be a hacker. You could choose to be subversive. You could choose to be out front. You could choose to be sneaky.
Interesting.
Based upon who you recruit from the population and how you get them, that could implicate your gameplay as you go forward.
That's cool sounds.
That would be a game I would play. I would play that game a lot.
Me too.
Just because it's like, but that's the thing is like you look at how the games are designed, and you look at them and you go, you could do so much more with this.
They could.
You could do like bigger and better and badder and awesomer. And then you just kind of go, well, that's what you did. Okay, good.
That's all you got.
That's all you got.
Really?
That's it. You just got to copy. So that's like
got millions of dollars.
Right.
The best you can do.
Well, we could go back to the EA Sims situation. Sims 4 has done no better. One of my YouTubers that I follow basically announced that he was going to start doing more vlogs and short content and like actual like content versus playing The Sims all the time. And he was just like, players I'm watching, like even fellow YouTubers they're not making a lot of Sims 4 content anymore. They're stepping and trying other content to make because it's not reliable. The game isn't working, and all this other stuff.
Sad.
It is.
That's
like
horrible.
it's because there is like the Sims YouTube
community. Good.
Yeah, well, in the Sims YouTube community and the Sims social media community has always been very, very strong. Like they are there's a lot of them out there, both Twitter and YouTube, and like it's a big community. It is a massive group of people who are interested in the Sims world, and they've been building it since The Sims 1. And so these are gamers who've been playing all of the Sims games, all the Sim Cities, the Sims, the whatever. And for them to kind of just be like, I don't know if I want to do this as the main thing anymore, and you're just like, oh dang, that's not good.
The game must be really broken. Bad.
It's just they don't care. EA just doesn't care.
Just kill it.
Well, and that's the thing is like the ideas we've just spitballed, those are incredible game ideas. And I guarantee you, if they were done well, if the time was invested and the promotion was done, and like people would play those games.
Yeah.
People would be like, yes. And you could, I mean, obviously, we're in a multiplayer mode these days. Like you would add in options, you can play with a friend or whatever. But,
so on and so forth.
Yeah, so on and so forth. But no battle royale because that's the death of any game.
That's stupid.
So I
hate battle royale.
Yeah, I don't. It's a popular fad that people thought was awesome, but it really is just terrible. So I think that's like, and I could sit down and I could do another. I could talk about a World War II game where you like start from when December 7th happens. Oh, and I know it's been done with a couple of like of the not Code of Honor. Medal of Honor games.
Yeah.
They've done it, but if you were to take technology today and you were to take that story and tell it organically from start to finish, where you start when you're like a high school kid or a graduate in the United States, and December 7th happens.
That is cool.
And you like the tutorial of the game is you sitting in your little community, maybe it's a small town, and you start like hearing the news breaks and people start reacting, and you through your conversations with the people around you, they say, you know what, you could be really good at this. You should sign up. We need you. And you eventually you make the decision, okay, I'm going to go. And the tutorial takes you through the recruiting process where you go through the recruitment center and you do the test. And in that way, you then decide what's my character strengths, because we all have those games where you sit and you click on the plus. I'm this good. I'm not that. Like that would be your character creation situation. And then you get sent off. And you get sent off either to you could choose Pacific or the Europe campaign.
Darn.
But I think it's already been done, but I don't know if it's done as well.
It's not been done like that.
You would be a part of that, and it wouldn't be a linear. The story would be told in a way that you have choice, and you would have the ability to go and so I think, I mean, again, it would take a lot of work because game design is not easy these days. But it would just be like to have that kind of an epic story. And I think that's maybe what I'm looking for.
That's what I'm looking for the same thing.
I want an epic story to journey through.
Like Grounded. I think Grounded is going to be that story I've been looking for.
Yeah. Well, and it's so unique. It's so different. I mean, it's been done before, but it doesn't look like it's been done this well.
No, not like this.
So there you go. All right. Well,
sweet.
Yeah, there we go. And maybe next week we'll come up with another game. Maybe that'll be like one of our philosophical ending of the episode is we'll talk about something that we want to do, we want to see done, or like a new game feature. I don't know. Again, we're not programmers. No. We wouldn't know how to do any of that.
No.
But that's the beauty of gaming, is that anything is possible. With all the gaming engines out there,
literally anything.
Unreal 5 is insane.
It is.
And it's
the Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix demo that they put out was like, whoa, that's legit. So there's hope, and hope springs eternal for good games. We are the County Gamers, and we will continue to play games. But we might just talk about Star Trek once in a while, and
why not?
How much we think that Picard shouldn't have turned
into a friggin' robot.
Yeah.
Employment.
I know. What can you do?
Just ruined the whole thing.
Gosh darn it, Paramount. Shakes fists at the sky angrily. Get off my lawn. All right.
Throw sticks.
Yeah, throw sticks. Kick the dirt. Yeah. Throw a tantrum. Go home. Take a nap. All that good stuff. All right. My name is Aaron.
And my name is Chris.
And this has been the County Gamers. We'll see you on the next episode. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes.
Batman says good night. Batman says goodbye, and I say good night. Good Lord. You've been listening to the County Gamers Podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts that are hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus here in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, the language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.